Perception of how a lot of reviews we do, and it's getting into a lot better scenario of like teaching and educating you guys to be better at all the little things that you do. And that's kind of what we want to do here. That's the point of doing, you know, trade reviews and those type things are just basically to help us get better education for you and feedback so I can help you understand what you're doing and then find out, you know, get you solutions, right? So the point of a stop loss, right, is to teach you when you enter a trade wrong, right? So let's say you enter a trade and you put your stop loss at 20, right? And that if you're using high leverage, normally that just gives you a little room to have a bad entry, right? So it kind of goes up on you and then, you know, maybe gets up to 17, 18, and then it goes down. And, you know, if you're hitting a 20% stop loss, well, that means that was a terrible entry. And you need to go back and review your entry and get to yourself in your position where you realize what you did wrong there and then fix it, right? So what I want to do here is basically go over, you know, a different concept of stop losses because they work differently on all levels of positions, right? It all depends on leverage, right? Normally the ideal is to have a taller, a longer, bigger stop loss on high leverage, because then you have, you know, you got to give it room to, you know, just kind of like blink, right? And then when you have lower leverage like this, you can start your stop loss more at the 10 zone, right? 10 and 15. And that's because when you do that, you know, consider if you have a 30x leverage, that's, you know, literally 1/3 the size of a 100x or whatever, which means a 10x stop loss at 10 minus 10 would actually be a stop loss at 30 if you had a higher leverage. So it gives you more room to, you know, make a mistake or have an early entry. So that also allows you to, you know, get in and out. So the purpose of a stop loss is to trigger a response to what you're doing. So if you enter a trade, right, and you post your entry and the stop loss triggers, right, then we know we need to review your entry because you were too early. And we need to show you the steps or the system that you need to help you from entering early on a trade, right? So we teach you by your mistakes. We teach you what you did wrong. So what I want you guys to do is use a stop loss system for beginners, right? And the stop loss system for beginners is very simple. You set a stop loss up if you're doing a 100x leverage or any leverage that you're doing, right? So 100x leverage, you're going to use a stop loss that is set up at 15%. If you're using any leverage between 80 and 100, you have a 15% stop loss. If you're using any leverage below 60 and below, then you're going to use a 10x leverage, right? And that way you're in the same position that you want to be. Now, if any of these stop losses trigger, right, you post your entry, post that it triggered a stop loss, and then you move on and you do another trade, right? And you need to get your entries better because that's the problem. Now, a lot of guys say, well, I don't do a stop loss because, you know, I want, you know, sometimes I might enter too early and it goes up, you know, maybe 35, 40% on me before it comes down. And what you're really saying is that I'm not going to learn the system on how to enter properly, because as long as I know some basics or my own, you know, I realize that when there's a 15-minute red moon with negative volume, or when there's a red trend, I'm going to get a down. Now, it doesn't always happen immediately, but it happens sometime, right? And then now you're just kind of like doing your own system, right? And your own system, you know, it doesn't have a structure to it. So that's kind of like the problem is you're using the system, but you're not using the complete system, and you're just kind of like making up for the system, right? So what you need to do is adjust yourself to where you're trading correctly and properly with the system so that you can, you know, get better at it, right? And the point of posting your entries properly is so that I can go back and review the trades, and we're going to do a 10 trade review, and I can simply find ways to fix the things that you're doing wrong. Because even if you, whatever system you're doing, I can give you pointers on how to work what you're doing wrong, and then you can implement simple triggers and checklists to make your ideal of trading profitable correctly. But I can't do that if I don't know what you're doing, right? So that's where we're at. So use the stop loss system. The stop loss system is designed to tell you that you entered a trade wrong, right? If it triggers, it's okay. Let the trade reset, then go back in. If it triggers again, set the trade. If it still looks like it's supposed to be the way you thought it was, then go in a third time. If it looks like it's reversing, then you're not in the trade. And then you go back and look on what happened that you hit the stop loss at 10x or whatever, 15x twice in a row. Like what happened that you missed that basically why you shouldn't have entered, right? And we're going to do the 10 trade review, and we're going to solve that piece. And once you get that piece out of the way, you're going to get rid of those stop losses and get better and better at what you do. So stop losses have to be used. The purpose of them is to basically tell you you entered a trade too early and teach you to be more patient, right? So at the end of the day, guys, follow the course, right? You're in the course to be in the course. So follow the course. The course doesn't work unless you do the course. You have to work the course, right? So follow that. Stop losses are to show you that your entries are wrong and you need to be more patient, okay? Now, what I want you guys to do here is open up your position trading mind and start with position trades, right? Use that leverage there to get yourself squared away where it's a safer trades. And if you're having troubles with your entries, do two things. Set your stop losses, but if you're doing 100x trades, then lower those 100x trades to 50x trades or 65, right? But go below 75 and then go from there and see how you do on your trades there. Remember, you only need 20%, guys. You don't need 100. You need 20 to 30% gains in order to be successful traders, guys. But use your stop losses, and if they trigger more than twice on every one of your trades, then you have to get to your 10 trade review so you can solve that issue, guys. Follow the system and you will be a lot better off, guys. Other than that, good luck. God bless, guys.